Why TBC? What's the deal? So I did a video the other day. I was saying that Dominic Brazil versus Andy Ruiz Jr. makes perfect sense to me because both of these guys are rated in the top 15 and two of the same sanctioning bodies, and they're pretty much the only guys besides Malik Scott and I think probably Berman Stavern, and I'm probably forgetting somebody that doesn't have a fight schedule. So I thought, hey, be a good crossroads fights between two prospects, be a good fight. We know that Chris Arreola and Brazil are going to fight. They rescheduled that fight. They had a fight set for the end of April. Arreola broke his ankle, so that fight is postponed. Probably the end of June, the 1st of July. All right, but anyways, on that video, I had a commenter, and shouts out to him because he's the motivation for this video. His name is Jim Jones, and he left a comment saying, pointless risk. Both of them should save their O for Wilder. Okay, so that's his opinion on it. So I like that he had a different view because I like I like these type of topics, man. Now with me, I'm not a big believer in let's save our O. Really a O doesn't really mean anything to me as a fan. Now, financially and pumping up a fight and the money's involved, yes, it may look a little bit more flashier. Two undefeated fighters, Frazier, Ali, Tyson, Spinks, Holmes. I can go on and on. Holyfield, Bo, just undefeated championship fights, but I don't necessarily think that they need to sit around and save their I think they need to be in there with the toughest opposition they can possibly be in there with, because the heavyweight division is really starting to take off right now. Nobody's going to have room to try to save their O's. I just don't believe that because, like I said, the division is heating up right now, and there's a plethora of prospects coming up. And if you sit around and try to save your O, next thing you know, there's going to be about 20 guys that are undefeated, calling themselves the best, waiting for title shots. It's just not feasible. It's not going to happen. Ruiz needs to step up. I really think he needs to step up and get a big fight. And as far as saving your O and guys shouldn't fight because they're undefeated, they should wait. Now I'm not saying you said that none of these undefeated guys should fight, but I'm just saying it'll look kind of silly for Dominic Brazil to try to save his O for Deontay Wilder. Now, I do think if Wilder beats Povetkin, he is going to fight one of these PBC heavyweights. Maybe Brazil, maybe Washington, maybe John Wesley No Fire, maybe Adam Konatsky. Somebody. I believe he's going to fight one of the PBC heavyweights. Brian Jennings didn't save his O for Arthur Spilka. They were both undefeated when they fought. Brian Jennings fought Perez. They were both undefeated. Robert Helenius fought the young prospect France Real. They were both undefeated. Anthony Joshua fought Dillian White. They were both undefeated. Anthony Joshua fought Gary Cornish, undefeated. Ruiz Jr. fought Joe Hanks. That was a really good fight. Probably the best I've seen Ruiz Jr. I believe Hanks was like 21-0 when they took that fight. Christian Hammer was undefeated when he fought Marius Watt. They're both undefeated. Gerald Washington was getting ready to fight another great prospect. Well, they're both good prospects. Oscar Rivas. Rivas couldn't pass the eye exam. He has a messed up eye. They're both undefeated. Brazil fought Yasmani Consuegra. They were both undefeated at the time they fought. Some German prospects who I've heard rumors of this fight possibly happened. Now, I heard this rumor months ago. Now I'm hearing another rumor, but Tom Schwartz versus Michiel Wallace was a fight that was supposed to happen. Both of these guys are rated, I believe, by the WBA. I don't have it in front of me. I believe the WBA have both these guys rated. But now I'm hearing Michiel Wallace might be in play for the David Haye fight. So I'm not sure that David Haye opponent selection should be coming pretty soon here. But I heard rumors that Wallace might fight Haye. But then I remember big baby Miller, Jarrell Miller. I was hearing they were trying to get a fight with Trevor Bryan, then it fell through. They're both undefeated. So what I'm saying is I just don't think guys should sit around and wait for Deontay Wilder, because who's to say? Now, if there's fucking, 15 of you and you're all undefeated, it's going to be, any, meeny, miny, mo. You know what I'm saying? I don't think undefeated really means anything. I really don't. Now, we can argue it. That's why I'm discussing it right now. I think it's a good topic, good discussion. Maybe some of you feel as if, hey, you need to be undefeated. You need that glossy record. But to me, just sitting around or fighting guys who you're going to be a 10-1, 11, 12-1 favorite against, trying to just save your record, trying to, stay inactive and wait for Deontay Wilder. I don't think that's a smart thing to do, because next thing you know, you're going to have guys like Hughie Fury, Iju Agano, Oscar Rivas, Adrian Granat. Next thing is going to be these other guys from overseas that some of you probably have never heard of, but I have, and they're going to pass you in the rankings. So you got to get in here and take on these other undefeated challengers, man. Joseph Parker is willing to put his undefeated record on the line. He was ready to fight Martin. He called out Joshua. I know Martin was trying to get a fight with Parker, but in New Zealand, but Duco Events couldn't get the money up. So no. If Joseph Parker, Joshua, and all these guys are putting it on the line, I believe Dominic Brazil and the rest of these guys. And Brazil's not the type I think is going to sit around. He just fought Amir Mansour in a tough fight. And now he's right back. He's trying to get Areola in there. So no, I don't think guys should sit around and try to hold their O and wait for Deontay Wilder or wait for Tyson Fury or wait for this guy or wait for that. Then you got this other guy named Luis Ortiz who's undefeated. So I just don't think guys should sit around and try to be undefeated, because if we go that route, we're going to have 20 undefeated fighters. You know what I mean? And how do we separate them? They have to get in there and fight either in eliminators or just take the initiative and get in there and want to fight another undefeated guy. Like I said, Joshua Parker, all these other guys are doing it. So for Brazil and Ruiz to sit around, especially Ruiz, he needs to be active. But no, not just active fighting a journeyman level guy or, a 4 or 6 rounder where you're favored to win. You're just getting some work to stay in shape. I think these guys are going to have to turn up this year. I believe Brazil really wants to turn up and get big fights. Ruiz, I know he has some personal issues. I'm not sure. His trainer came out and said it was personal stuff. It had nothing to do with his weight or anything like that. So hopefully, I don't know what it is. Hopefully it's nothing too serious. Hopefully he can bounce back and we can see more of Andy Ruiz Jr. But sitting around with undefeated records is not the way to go, especially not the heavyweight division right now. Like I've said, I can keep naming prospects. Bogdan Dinu, Matteo Madundo. It's going to be too many guys that are undefeated, man. It's going to be just way too many of them. So these guys need to get up in there and get some fights going, undefeated or not. I mean, if you're a prospect, you're trying to work your way up, hey, you may need to fight another prospect. George Arias, the kid George Arias just fought, who did he fight? James Hammertree. They're both both undefeated prospects, both under 10 fights, but still, Hammertree 6-0 with 6 knockouts. Arias is the prospect that everybody's, has their eye on. He had to go in there tough, so no, sitting around trying to hold your O, don't think it's a good idea. Just my opinion. Curious to hear yours. Shout out to Jim Jones for disagreeing with me, man, because I think this is a good topic. YTBC, I'm out.